Cubs continue to lose. The White Sox continue to win. Bulls have a new head coach. And we preview our first position group for the Bears.
Yeah, Northside noise, Shot City Ben, Joey and Sam, lock it in, wind blow all the spin, cup talk, yeah, tap in, and with a heartbeat couple quick.
Welcome to the episode. Welcome to the Welcome to the Shy City Den. I am Joey Glickman alongside Sam Van Cleve. We're breaking down the biggest stories, biggest games, and all things Chicago sports. Yeah, it's late here. I'm sorry, Sam. Excuse me. It's late
And a
here
long day for you,
in
Joe.
Highland Park. Had a long day of work, so bear with me. Bear with me. Coming off a brutal Cubs loss tonight. Got a packed show ahead of us. Talking Cubs continuing to lose. The White Sox are really starting to find a groove, although getting absolutely killed in the Bronx tonight. Bulls hire Tiago Splitter. Definitely an outside the box hire. And Sam, we're going to start a Bears position preview, and that is coming up last segment. But let's start on the north side, Sam. Cubs lose the second game of a 3-game series against the Rockies by a score of 5-2. Pete led off the game with a solo home run. This guy is on an absolute rampage right now.
Third solo home run to start the game in his last 4 games.
That's incredible. That's like Anthony Rizzo numbers. Remember when Anthony Rizzo led off and he went on some outrageous run?
Unbelievable tear. Him
crazy.
and Schwarber. I mean, both of them were doing damage for us in the leadoff spots.
Crazy. Those were the days that we actually got base hits. Edward Cabrera left the game first off, let's talk about Palencia. Palencia went on the 15-day IL today with right elbow inflammation. And then Edward Cabrera in the 4th inning left the game with right hand cramps. I don't know where he's been. I don't want to know where he's been to sustain that injury. But it looks like that's probably not I don't think he's going to miss a start.
Mistake me if I'm wrong. I haven't heard of too many pitchers going down with hand cramping issues.
That's insane, dude.
I mean, it's definitely. I mean, it's got to be a cover up for something else.
An eyebrow raiser for sure.
He just got off the IL too with that blister problem on his throwing finger. But really, it's tonight and even yesterday it was just the story of the season. Like again today, 0 for 8, 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Nothing new. Again, it's getting kind of repetitive, kind of tiring for us to talk about even. And then obviously Edward going down with injury, getting taken out early. But even when he was in, the shape of the pitches,
just not good enough.
Just not good enough. It really isn't. Like it's what we talked about last episode. Maybe even the velo's up. It doesn't matter that the velo's up because he's still leaving pitches right over the middle of the plate and he's getting crushed. And this is a matchup where, I feel like he should be comfortable at home against the Rockies. It's a ball club that is very aggressive early on in the account. So if he gets ahead in the count early, he should have success against this team because of how much they're, aggressive and, swing friendly, I should say, early in the count. But that was just not the case. He couldn't really get ahead tonight. Struggled again with hard contact, base runners. It's just more of the same story we've been reading all year long.
Right, and this is a guy you traded Owen Casey for, and Owen Casey is going to be a good ball player. There's no doubt about that. He's playing every day in Miami. This is not a Miami Marlins show, but you gave up a hefty price for him, and he hasn't lived up to the hype. Now it's still early in his Cubs tenure, and he still can turn it around. But That's now, is that 2 injuries or 3 injuries that he's had in a span?
Two.
It's two. The blister in the hand. I don't think he's going to miss a start from this. I'd be shocked if he misses a start from this, especially how depleted the rotation is. Um, but like you said, Sam, his stuff isn't as crisp as it was in Miami for the reason that they got him. And it's concerning. It's concerning. You bring a guy in like Zombro to fix all those problems, and Zombro's supposed to be the messiah of pitching, and he hasn't.
The pitching ninja.
Right, and it hasn't worked out so far. Look again, it's
Like a little like we brought Edward in, and a pitch that was really effective for him in Miami was that sinker ball, that high velo sinker ball he threw, and we brought him in here, and he's leaned more heavily with the fastball with
for
us.
sure.
Mistake me if I'm wrong, but
No, for
he's
sure.
definitely leaned more with the fastball, and that's the pitch that he's been getting killed on, and it was the same story with Ben Brown until, of
Well,
course, Ben Brown went.
do you think that's the blister? If it's the blister, if let me tell you, Sam.
I mean, a blister shouldn't be holding you back that much. It shouldn't be impacting the shape of your pitches that much. And if it is, I mean, a bigger IL stint was simply needed.
If it's
I
the
mean,
blister, and he left the game with another, it opened up. Fire the training staff. Get rid of everyone. IL him. All right. He's hurting the team. He's hurting the club. All right. It's enough. It's enough with rushing guys back. It's enough of forcing guys to play when they're not right. Swanson in 24 was hurt all year. He got surgery in the offseason. Wasn't healthy. Same with Nico. I don't know what's up with Nico. I don't know if he's hurt. If he's hurt, IL him.
forgot how to hit the baseball.
It's really bad, Sam. I know this is kind of a quick pivot, but dude, the last 30 games from Nico Horner have just been really, really depressing.
It's literally ever since he got hit in the head in San Diego. Ever since then, his play has just
No,
gone.
I mean,
It's been on a downhill slope.
Is there
Like,
correlation there?
I, I mean, he laughed it off and at a hard 90, so I would doubt it. But it's funny enough that since that moment, his numbers, his slash lines have been plummeting.
I mean, here, I'm going to read you his last 30 games. You ready for this?
He doesn't he has worse numbers than Dansby, I want to say, over their last 30 games, almost identical.
Okay. 118 at bats. He's got 21 hits. He's hitting 178. You want to know what he's slugging?
I mean,
Nico Horner is slugging 203 in his last 30 games. That's not a small sample size, 30 games. 7-game stretch, sure. Nico in his last 7 games is hitting 107. He's got 3 hits. Nico's got an OPS of 464.
I mean, that's so bad. And when you have pretty much 2 of those in your lineup right now with him and Dansby, that handicaps your whole lineup.
Handicaps your
It's
whole
that
lineup.
simple.
And
Your whole
that's your
team.
entire middle infield. You can't bench both guys. What are you gonna do? Put Matt Shaw at short and put Pedro Ramirez at second base?
But no. The run prevention is why they're in the lineup, though.
Right.
Can't forget about that.
Right.
Yeah, it's the run prevention,
Run
Joe.
prevention. That's what
Forget
they do
about
best, is
scoring
prevent
runs.
Offensively.
Forget about scoring 5 runs tonight. We held them to 5 runs,
Right.
so it was cool.
Yeah,
We prevented runs, right?
Yeah. That's great, guys. That's great, guys. Run prevention is really gonna help you when you're 10 games out of first place in July. I don't know where you go from here. I thought they'd take advantage of this easy stretch. They haven't. Looking like heavy tornadoes tomorrow. I don't think tomorrow's game is going to be played. Assad, who's been great the last 2 starts, is taking the mound against Sullivan, who's making his first career start. Um, and that's kind of upsetting because I think they would probably win, but you never know. All right, that's enough Cubs talk. We're done with the Cubs. Let's move on to the
Yeah.
Sox.
Flip the
Let's
page
move on to the Sox.
onto something positive.
Sox win 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers this past weekend. Really, in impressive fashion. They dropped Saturday's game, but Friday and Sunday were really incredible. I was at Friday's game; it was electric at that park. Pretty much sold out. Um,
I mean, back-to-back series wins against the Braves and Dodgers.
Crazy.
Yeah, at this point in the year, if you have back-to-back series wins against those two ball clubs, that is
A
pretty telling
four
of
in
where
one
you're at
week,
as a team.
a 4-1 week against the Braves and Dodgers. You will take that all day, man.
And it's not like those teams coming in were on a down spell or on a drought or anything. Those are two of the best records in the league right now.
Right, right. And look, again, it's still early. There's still more than halfway of the season left. We're almost to the halfway point, Sam. We're at 74 games completed, so we're about, 47% of the way through. Um, this team is really good. I mean, they remind me a lot of the Brewers in a way that they're gritty, they're tough, they they get hits with runners on, um, and their pitching. Davis Martin got absolutely killed tonight. He's been their best pitcher, um, and yeah, I mean they're treading water while their best player is out, and if they can continue to tread water until he comes back, I mean this is definitely a playoff team. If not, you're looking at the AL Central Division win.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last episode. I absolutely think this team is in play for an AL Central title, and I think that's an absolutely reasonable take. Just looking at how the AL Central has played out the past 2, 3 seasons, as you know, relatively speaking, 85 to 90 wins would probably win you that division and get you a little home field playoff series, which would be electric on the South side, and something we haven't seen in obviously a number of years. But yeah, I like that comparison with the Brewers. This team, I do get very like gritty vibes from this lineup 1 through 9. They're gonna dog you out, like, and it showed in that series against the Cubs, man. It was just 1 through 9. It was just tough outs for our whole pitching staff. Honestly, it felt like we got into extras with them, and yeah, it was just tough sledding. I don't know too much. I'm not a daily watcher of this White Sox ball club, but I'm a bit follower of the sport, obviously, and what their young guys are doing and at this young of age in that lineup is certainly eye opening. And you know, as we've mentioned, it's something. It's this team is only going to get better as the season progresses and as we get closer to September, October baseball.
Right, and if they're in the push for October, and the Cubs are in the push for October, hopefully, I think the Cubs will be. I know it's been bad, but I think the NL is top heavy. I think they'll definitely be in the end. But if both teams are in it, it's going to be a fun September with the Bears starting and the Cubs and Sox in the mix. It's going to be a fun August and September here in Chicago. I can't wait. Before you know it, it'll be football season. But yeah, it's really I again am not. I don't watch the White Sox either, but that was probably the first game I watched on Friday, and just they're buzzing. They're buzzing. They're fun to watch. The guys are in it. They're involved. They have a sense of urgency, and Will Venable, honestly, is a runaway candidate to win Manager of the Year for the AL. He's done a fantastic job. He was former Cubs bench coach, former Cubs first base coach, and yeah, he's definitely going to win manager of the year as it stands right now. And yeah, I mean, there's not much else I can say other than it's a fun watch. And look, they got killed tonight, but they've had a tough.
I mean,
They've
it's the
had a
best
tough.
part of
You're gonna have
162.
clunkers here and there, so
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, it's a young core too. I mean, it's the best on the flip side, of having a young core and being on the uptrend. Maybe opposite of what the Cubs are on right now is that, they get killed tonight. Who cares, man? Flip the page to tomorrow. I was on the road against the Yankees. That's always going to be a tough environment, tough game to go into. But something that this White Sox team has that they haven't had in years past is an absolute anchor in their lineup. And I think they have multiple of those guys, to be honest. But the guy I'm talking about is obviously Colson Montgomery. And it really opened my eyes after that series with the Cubs. This dude is a flat out baller,
He
man. He's
makes
a
Dansby
gamer.
Swanson look like
Horrible,
not
dude.
even Jake
Horrible.
Arrieta at the dish. He makes him look like oh my God, I don't even know. John Lester? Or is it Francisco Liriano at the plate?
Yeah. I mean, point is, if I'm starting, a franchise, a team, there are very few shortstops I'm taking over Colson Montgomery right now, and that's saying something
100%.
because shortstop is always going to be a loaded position with young talent and guys coming up. But there right now in the league, there are a few shortstops I'd take over
Right.
Colson Montgomery at this point.
He's in the conversation for top 5, maybe shortstop in all.
I mean, I'm taking Abrams, I'm taking Gunner, I'm taking Bobby,
You're taking Abrams over Colson Montgomery.
C.J. Abrams.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, do you have this?
I don't know.
Have you been
Honestly,
watching
I don't
C.J.
know how he's
Abrams?
doing this year.
I mean, he's one of him and James Wood are probably the two reasons why that team's two,
Yeah,
three
I heard
games above 500 right now.
The Nationals are.
They have been hitting the cover off the baseball, but
No, you're right.
I mean, obviously subject to change because Colson's so young. Same with CJ too. But those are kind of three names I'm taking over Colson, and it's a very short list, like I said. So
No,
very,
and he's only getting
very positive outlook for this young lineup.
for sure, for sure. We'll talk more White Sox and more Cubs on our next episode. We got big news in Bulls Nation as the Bulls hire head coach Tiago Splitter. Tiago Splitter was a longtime NBA player, played for the Sixers, the Hawks, longtime San Antonio Spurs. I believe won a championship with the Spurs in 2014. In terms of his coaching career, he was with the Trailblazers for the last 2 seasons. He was an assistant coach, and when the Trailblazers head coach got fired, he stepped in as an interim. I believe Portland made the play-in this year.
They made the play-in, won the play-in, got in, and played the Spurs in round one and stole a game or two from them.
Right.
So it was when he took over that interim role, I was pretty impressed with what he did with that roster. And honestly, that's an ascending team with Denny. Scoot was playing some pretty good ball down the stretch. But I honestly, I love the hire in Tiago Splitter. I feel like it's kind of following a similar track to what, I'm not comparing the two names, of course, but I'm just saying it's giving me similar vibes to what, the Bears did with Ben. Is they're going out, they're getting a young gun, maybe a player's guy coming in. I know Tiago, played a number of years under Pop in San Antonio, which is obviously awesome. But he knows the game well, and he brought him in to develop our guys. So, we said this a while back when we landed the 4th pick in the draft, but I think I'm seeing red for the first time here in a long time, Jeff.
Right, and they got the 4th overall pick. They're going to get a superstar at number 4. I think that's as certain as it gets, just how deep this class is, unless they ultimately trade out of number 4, which I don't think they will. But yeah, to be honest, I thought this was outside the box. I didn't expect someone like him to get hired from the Bulls. This is definitely a Bulls hire, going outside the box. I feel like they've gone outside the box for many big decisions. And yes, there are a lot of question marks with Tiago Splitter. He's never been a head coach before in any level of basketball other than obviously late last year. But The uncertainty definitely raises some eyebrows. However, this is kind of what the Bulls are right now. They're uncertain. They have a lot of question marks. How is Matas going to play next year? How is the number 4 overall pick? I believe that's going to be Caleb Wilson at number 4. How is he going to fit into a role? How's Giddy going to fit into a veteran role? They definitely have a lot of question marks. Do I see Tiago Splitter being here for the long haul when they're eventually good? If they're actually good, I don't know that answer. I don't know that answer. I think time will tell. But I honestly like the hire. As time has gone on, I definitely like the hire. Were there more qualified candidates? Sure, but that's not a place for the Bulls to hire a qualified candidate right now. They're not ready to go get a big name head coach. Uh, so yeah, I mean, there's not much else I can say. Just win some basketball games.
I mean, we have a ton of young talent, obviously. But I mean, I want to see the keys finally get handed over to Matas for this team, for him to be the first option, because we all know that the type of you know ceiling Matas has, the athletic ability, the scoring ability, score at all three levels, play good defense, protect the rim. Matas is an extremely valuable player, and I think that's the good news with bringing in a guy like Tiago is he's a young head coach. He's freshly out of the game, and he understands the player development side of things. So I feel like this is going to be a great hire to come in, develop Matas, develop some of our other young pieces, maybe Dillingham, see what we got in him. But yeah, very positive outlook for me on this hire. I like it. And a little side note too, since the Blazers, we had their pick. It was top 15 protected. I want to say, barring if they made the playoffs, that pick would now turn into our first rounder. And Tiago did us a favor by getting W in the play-in, getting into the playoffs,
Right?
and
No,
their first round pick turned into ours. So,
yeah,
little help from Tiago along the way, which
yeah. I
is
didn't even
nice.
know that. I didn't even know that. Good point. So we'll see what happens. Draft's coming up soon. NHL draft's coming up soon. NBA draft is coming up soon. So definitely some news will be broken. Our last segment, Sam, and I'm super excited for this segment. It's going to be a weekly segment as we get closer and closer to kickoff against Carolina. Is we're going to preview different position groups every episode. And for this episode, we're going to start off on the back end and talk about the safety room. Just to kind of preview it, Bears, obviously, their first round pick, Dylan Thieneman from Oregon. They picked up Kobe Bryant from Seattle. They brought back Elijah Hicks. They signed Cam Lewis from Buffalo, but they also subtracted their two starters in Kevin Byard and Jaquan Brisker. So there's definitely a new and improved, I think, safety room in Chicago, but it's definitely going to look different on the back end for the Bears coming up in September.
100% it will be. That's a great point. Um, and the kind of thing I'm looking at first here in training camp is how we handle the turnover from obviously losing two big, key parts of that defense in Byard and Brisker, not necessarily play level, but I'm talking about more locker room level, leadership level. Those were two backbones of our defense, and no doubt it's going to be tough losing them. But bringing in, as you said, Kobe Bryant, Thieneman in the first round, we are getting faster, more explosive downhill.
For sure.
I just think this whole operation on defense and what these two guys are going to bring to the table that Byard and Brisker couldn't is just, I've said it before, we now have interchangeable safeties. What that means is, you know, Byard was an extreme rangy free safety, so he was more, play the post, like go out, play center field, go make plays, go be a ball hawk. Where Brisker was more, we're bringing him down into the box. He's a tackler. He's gonna hunt heads. He's just gonna hit and he's really going to play fast downhill. So I felt like we didn't really have two interchangeable safeties in Byard and Brisker because, you bring Byard down in the box, not as an impactful player in the box as he is in, center field, and you put Brisker out in the post and let him range and play center field. I don't, it's vice versa. I think they have clear cut roles, and those two are going to excel in New England and in Pittsburgh, no doubt. But I believe bringing in Thieneman, bringing in Kobe Bryant, we now have two interchangeable safeties that we can bring down in the box or play up top, play the post. So that's what I think we have in this new safety group. And I'm super excited to see how it plays out throughout training camp, and leadership positions start to get filled out, stuff like that throughout training camp. But that's kind of what I'm looking at right now heading into training camp, is that leadership position. Who's going to step in, fill that Byard Brisker role, and be that, backbone of the defense we need.
And I'm going to be honest, going into week 1, this is my biggest position group and most excited position group to watch, just with the difference that Ryan Poles has made. You get younger, you get faster on the back end. You bring a guy in like Elijah Hicks back. Cam Lewis, kind of more of a ball hawk in Buffalo, could be a big part of this team. Will Kyler Gordon play safety at all? Will Josh Blackwell step up sometimes and play safety as well? This is a fun position group. I love it. I really love it. I think this is going to be probably the biggest strength of this defense. 100%. 100%. I'm expecting Dylan Thieneman. I know there's huge shoes to fill with Byard gone and obviously Brisker gone. But this is like a big year for Thieneman. Like, Thieneman has a real chance to win Defensive Rookie of the Year this year with I feel like he's a guy that has a very high floor, but also a high ceiling. Like, this guy can be a dog. This guy can take the ball away. He can make tackles for losses. Kind of
100%.
He's kind of a mix of Byard and Brisker in a way.
He is, dude. I mean, it's just
good traits.
It's why these two are going to work so well, is because they fit. They can play both him and Kobe can play the box. They can play up top the post, as I said. So it's just a match made in heaven, especially in Dennis Allen's defense. Like, this is a defense where, pre-snap, there's not a lot of motion on especially on the back end with Dennis Allen. He's not going to move his guys around pre-snap. All his movement happens post-snap. So
you don't think he will? You don't think he will with more speed?
No, I mean, I that's honestly a good point. I could see it happening to now, where pre-snap we have two interchangeable safeties. We can start, mixing looks on the back end, maybe, giving teams new things, because it really felt like our defense was figured out about halfway throughout the year, and we were just treading water in some games to be able to get stops on defense.
And look, I love Brisker the person, and I wish him nothing but the best in Pittsburgh. But I would definitely say this was an upgrade. I want to do some grades. Going into week 1, what would you say your grade is for this position group? I guess we could do it simultaneously.
Ooh. Yeah.
I'm going to say B plus. Yes.
Nice.
B plus. I would say B plus. I think it has a chance, honestly, to get to an A minus in training camp with all the news that we could potentially hear. But yeah, I'm super pumped for this position group going into this year. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Thieneman and Kobe Bryant. I feel like we know what Kobe Bryant is at this point. And I think he's
such a dog, man.
He's a dog.
Kobe's a rock, dude. He's fun to watch.
He's a winner.
When you pull up the film from that Seattle Super Bowl run, this dude is in on damn near every tackle. It's so fun to watch. He's going to be so fun watching, screaming downhill. And the best part about Kobe is that he came into the league as a DB or as a corner, and so he has experience
Right.
in both positions.
Sure.
He transformed into a safety, which is pretty integral in being able to bring that interchangeable value, as I mentioned. So he's a guy for me that is an extremely valuable player, and I really like the contract we gave to him. I think it's fair on both sides. Um, but even then, bringing in Cam Lewis, like again, that is extra postseason experience that this group needs, this young core needs. So I feel like we can, lean on Kobe Bryant's postseason experience, lean on Cam Lewis's postseason experience, because when we get in those big moments, this young core needs those vets to kind of lean on and get them through it.
For sure. For sure. That will do it for this episode of the Shy City Den. This was a great episode, other than the Cubs not being productive. But hopefully, we'll have a more positive episode talking about the North Side later this week. For Joey Glickman, that is Sam Van Cleve. Thank you for listening to the Shy City Den.